Prophetic Type. My name is Miata, and you are watching The Prophetic Type, where I discuss all things prophetic and supernatural. So, Happy New Year's to everyone. I'm going to wait for a couple more people to jump on and take it to the Facebook page to make sure everyone can see and hear me clearly before I bring on my very special guest and dear cousin for tonight's episode. It's the first episode of the year. So get your pens, paper, and prepare to learn. Amen. All right. I want to make sure that everybody can see and hear me clearly on Facebook. And then I will bring on our special guest and we'll get this started. Okay. How was everybody's New Year's? I know that I spent my New Year. I went to church. I went to the midnight service, and we just had a really good service. And hold on one moment. And I'm going to share this and take it from there. And bring on our special guests. I know a lot of people have their New Year resolution and they are believing God for all these different things, and and God can do it, but we want you guys to be prepared. And we don't want you to just get stuck with the resolution this year. We want to see you actually fulfilling those resolutions. So the Push Strategist has a lot of tips and tricks to help you get where you need to get and without missing a beat. Can everybody see me on Facebook clearly? Let me see if our special guest is able to see me. So far, we have one person watching. She gave me a thumbs up. Can you hear me good? Okay. Is anybody else on? Because I'm not seeing it on my end. I'm not sure if it's private or I want to make sure everybody can hear me, everyone can see me, because I don't want you to miss this episode tonight. It's going to set you on the course for you to exceed and succeed in life for the rest of your life. So we don't want it to be just a year thing where you meet your goal for the year. We want you to have a legacy, leave something behind for the next generation. All right. Okay. So while we wait a couple more minutes, I'm just checking to see. I'm not seeing it on my Facebook page, but she's saying she can see it. And we're going to take it from there. Who else is watching? So far, how many people's watching Push Strategists? Who do you have? Who are you seeing? 2, 3, 4? Couple people? Okay. All right. I'm going to cue the music and we're going to start. I am excited for tonight. I am excited for all of you. And I can't wait to hear the testimonies that's going to come out of this. Okay. So for some reason, are you able to make it public on your page, Push Strategist? All right. I'm going to cue the music and I'm going to bring her on. And while she introduces herself, I will be doing some tech work. 1 second. Okay. All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Prophetic Type. I have my very special guest, my dear cousin, on tonight, the Push Strategist. Can
Hi,
everybody give
everybody.
her some love?
Hi, everybody. I'm excited to be on. Very
Yeah.
excited. I was just waiting patiently for getting on the screen so we can kick this thing off and get people set for the
Yeah.
2024. So thank you for the opportunity to be on. I'm really excited.
I'm really excited to have you on. You are my very first guest for this year. So,
Wow, I feel honored, and you're the first actual booking for me for the year too. So I couldn't ask for a better show to be on. I'm really excited. Really, really excited.
And I'm really excited to have you on as well. I want to make sure, can all your people see you and hear you? Are they chiming
I
in?
hope. Let me tell you, I was trying to figure it out. I'm hoping I don't see it live, but
Not all.
let me check. Let me check on my business page for those who are. Well, it says okay, so it says go live. So I'm assuming I'm not showing live. It's not streaming on there. Let's see if it is. Okay, yes, it is. It's streaming on there. So it's streaming. Hey guys. Hey all my push insiders. So it's streaming on there. Are you seeing it on your end?
I'm not seeing it on my end, but my phone, I'm using my old special phone since I'm on the
Okay.
good for this episode, but I want to make sure that everybody can see you on your end because I
Yep.
know
It looks like, yep, I have somebody that wrote, I'm watching Helen, who is always ready and supportive. My sister Helen, she's all watching. So it's good. It's good. But I
okay,
want to make sure you're showing on your end. So
because it's
when I
not,
check, it's not showing on. Yeah,
no,
you want me to check on your page too?
please, if you don't mind. And then I'm
Okay,
going to,
let me go. I'm gonna
everybody,
check now. Let's see if I can see your live. Okay, I'm going on your page.
mhm,
Bear with us. This is technology, people.
good.
I don't see it on your page.
Okay.
Where it says you're going live. No, I don't see it for some reason.
All right, let me see if I can
Let me
open,
see videos if I go here. Yeah, I don't see it on yours where it's going live.
but okay. Can you ask Helen if it's showing on her end?
Yeah, let me ask her. Yeah, she sees it. Let me message. Yeah, she said yes, she sees it. But I'm wondering if she's seeing it from my page. I just want to make sure that it's also showing to your watchers too. But it
Right.
is paired to and it's saying paired, so I'm assuming it's paired to my page.
Yeah, it is. So I gave you permission, well, access to pair it with your platforms as well, so that it can
Okay.
show. Um, but if that's the only thing about using a different phone. Certain features don't show on them. But you know what? We're gonna go. You
We're gonna
introduce.
go.
I'm gonna let you introduce
Okay.
yourself so we can be more professional. We're professional
Yeah.
people.
It happens. It's technology. Look, I'm used to as a push strategist, you just gotta keep pushing no matter what. Some
Yeah.
days it works, some days it doesn't. But look, we're gonna make this work. It's gonna be great. I'm really excited. Thank you again, Miata, for the opportunity. My name is Say. I am owner and founder of Push Strategist LLC. We are a collaborative consulting firm doing great work to uplift small businesses, nonprofit, corporate entities, government. We do contracting, everything you can think of when it comes to just bringing solutions to businesses. It's a team of us. We bring together all 37 consultants. We have grown tremendously, and our work is really just aligned to making sure we're uplifting communities of color, businesses of color, individuals of color in their business, career, and beyond. So, really excited to be here today and just share my story and hope that it can help empower you and push you to the next level in your business idea. Or if you started your business and you're feeling stuck, or you're in a career and you're like, what way to go? I'm hoping that my story and the interview today will really help you be able to find your path and excel. So thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, and I'm really happy to have you on here. And I know that what you have to say is going to be very encouraging and uplifting to people because a lot of people, they have these desires to be entrepreneurs. They want to get into business. They have all these big dreams and goals, but sometimes they need help they need someone to come in and just kind of help them get them together. So I
Yeah.
believe you are definitely called to do that.
Thank you so much. It's what brings me joy, honestly. You'll get up some days and you're like, I'm gonna keep going beside my girls, my family, my husband. Really, this work is what keeps me going every day. And you're doing what you're called to do when even if you're not making money, because in the beginning I wasn't, I'm like, what's going on? But it felt like I was making millions because I was really doing what I love. So that's really the goal today, to help people figure that out. And then from there, money will come and everything else will come.
Yeah, I think, and I really love the point where you said that it's important for people to do what they love, because it's one thing to do something, but it's another thing when you're actually loving what you're doing, you know? So,
Hmm.
and that we don't just get into things because it makes money, but once
Yeah.
kind of plateaued, you're just like, why am I here?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And I will say too, even to that, like sometimes you'll start off in something because you know you want to see yourself bringing
mhm,
a certain amount of money and so forth. But eventually, if you're strategic, your path can always lead back to where what you love to do. As long as you're solving a problem, you're helping people, it always works out that way. So I'm excited again to share my journey and hoping that it helps all of you all reach yours too as well and get to that point.
okay. Now, how old is Push Strategist? How long have you been in business?
Man, okay, so I've been Push Strategist is has been in existence. This year will make it the fourth year in June. And as I said, it's a consulting firm. We do various different services when it comes to coaching individuals and businesses. We do a lot of government contracting as well, which is a big revenue driver for our business. But the professional development services, small business coaching is really the things we love to do every day for your everyday individual, like those who are watching. So I've started that in 2020 in the midst of a pandemic.
Yeah.
I was walking by faith, which is something that I would say I'm very risky, but but that's just who I am. But small business for me actually started in 2013. I launched my first business out of in Brooklyn, New York. That's where I was born. I am a Nigerian Liberian girl by way of Brooklyn, New York. But I started a clothing business there, and the goal of that was just to really help women look and feel their best. It was a business that served plus size women. It went into me launching a business incubator. So I had my first business incubator along with a friend in Brooklyn, and then we end up getting a second store where we really helped. That store was really about helping small businesses. So we gave opportunities and spaces to businesses to sell their stuff. The youngest person was 13. The
Wow.
oldest was in there. Oh, Miss Lola was probably in her 60s. Not to call you out, Miss Lola, but if you're watching. But so we had just a bunch of people who had gifts and talents and services, and we wanted to give them a platform. So business is something that I'm not new to. I'm true to. I love it. But fashion was where I started. Got to go to London and do the first plus size fashion week and cover that. And I mean, went so many places. Went to Africa and took my business there and really manufactured things. And
Yeah.
I've done a lot, and I think part of it is just really the push in me that helps push others. When I want set my mind to do something, I'm gonna do it. And just God giving me the grace to be able to do all those things, I'm very thankful. So it transitioned actually. I was doing business for some years and then I ended up meeting my husband. Had kids and things stopped. And it's hard for an entrepreneur to stop for some time. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, but that time I needed to also make sure I focus on what's most important, which is family and taking time to really get to the root of it because people saw me in fashion and saw me doing these things. But I realized the root of it was helping to empower and uplift others in
Yeah.
all the businesses, from the clothing line to the business incubators to all those things. I just loved helping people reach their purpose and encouraging them. So as I discovered that, it led to me creating this consultancy where I started off with business coaching and now have really made a way for myself and many different project-based services and coaching and elevating people on a daily basis, whether it's in the business space or individual. So really excited about that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really excited about that too, and it's good to see, women who are in business and they're able to, you're married, you have kids, you have other family things, and you manage to do all of that. And, you're always so gracious and you're always um, there to kind of push and encourage people. So you are really in the perfect position. I think like this is like your calling, you
Oh,
know,
thank you.
it's part of like your calling and your ministry because you're naturally, by nature, you're really encouraging to other people. You thrive on encouraging and uplifting people. So you're in the right position. And I think anyone who works with you can feel the difference,
Oh,
between
thanks. Thank
someone who
you.
have that natural affect, where you just naturally have that heart for people, you know.
Thank you. And I would say too, for those listening, it I thank God that I've always been somebody who was very confident and loved uplifting people, but the even more confidence came by
Yeah,
trial and error, right? Because sometimes, a lot of entrepreneurs I work with, there's a level of fear of, am I ready? Am I good enough? Where am I going to get started? There's so many people that's doing the same things as me. What's going to make me different? And then you don't have that confidence. There's so many people doing the same thing as me, but I have been able to make a living. I've been able to love it. I've been able to grow and scale up. It's about who you are, your business at the end of the day. If you create yourself to be somebody that people want to work with, want to be around, it doesn't matter if 50 people are doing it. They're going to come to Push Strategists because they know us that has something that nobody else has. And that's
yeah,
the thing we have to remember. We're all designed uniquely and there's
yeah,
nobody else like you. So if you want to do something, don't let the marketplace scare you, because at the end of the day there's nothing new under the sun, but it's about what makes it original is you, and you putting the effort towards it and pushing yourself is what really will set you apart from others. So I'll say I had to grow to get to this point as well. Even with all those things I had and love doing, it still took time for me to say, okay, I really found what's for me. I found my lane and I'm staying in it so I don't get distracted by all the other noise out there.
right, right. And there was something that you said about persevering through it all, even when I think a lot of times when people start out in business, they think they're just going to blow up automatically and not
Yeah.
realize the process.
Yes, yes. That's so true. It's so true.
What would you say to somebody, right? Let's say they want to start a business. How do you go about starting a business? What's the first step?
Well, I have the opportunity to talk to a lot of people from youth to adults. So I would say the trend I think that is most successful is, what problem are you solving? And
That's good.
then look at what comes easy to you. I work with a lot of youth who want to start like clothing businesses, and I tell them, okay, why? And some of them have great reasons why, and then some of them want to do it because it just looks fun. And I'm like, is it fun when you're sitting on tons of inventory that's not selling? Because I was there at a point, and I'm like, how am I going to get this stuff in this small
Right.
New York apartment trying to, and my sister, at that time we shared a space, and she would be like, I'm tired of all these clothes, everywhere. So God bless her too. But, really looking first at just keeping it simple. Okay, what am I really good at, and what problem am I solving with this business?
Yeah.
And it could just be simple as, I'm helping people to feel like a kid again. I'm creating a space where adults can come and color. Like, I'm just throwing stuff out there. Taking you from your everyday 9 to 5. You get off of work. You don't get to be a kid and just have peace. Find what problem you're solving
Yeah.
first, and then from there make sure it's something that you enjoy doing, and you want to do it. And that's the first place I feel like to start. A problem you're solving and what comes easy to you, and then from there you can start your stream of income with that business. And a lot of times people don't realize, with business you don't have to go from your, like, my ideal business is to own this multi-million dollar company, but I didn't start there. I started off with what I had right in front of me. I love to talk. I
Mhm.
love to push people. I love to encourage them. So I started off with business coaching. And
Yeah.
I said, okay, my vision is to get to that multi-million dollar um, company where I can, coach executives and all these things, and be able to help, go into corporate spaces and change the dynamics for people of color and beyond. But I
Mhm.
knew realistically I have to start with what I have, which is just my computer, my money to file the business and start it, a little landing page website, and go. So I think keep
Yeah.
it simple. Don't try to build Rome in a day. And a
Yeah.
lot of entrepreneurs, like, they want to jump at it so big, and then it gets overwhelming and they give up so early.
Yeah.
So sorry, that's a loaded answer to your
It,
question.
it
Yeah.
needed to, the
Yeah.
biggest thing was how you said you have to start with use what you have.
Yeah.
There's a scripture in the Bible where the woman her husband passed away and she was in debt, and she asked the man of God,
Mhm.
they're going to come, the collector's going to come, they're going to take my kids and they're going to sell them and make them work off the debt. And he
Yep.
said, you have in your house? And
Mhm.
I have this pot and I have some oil. He was like, she said, I have a pot of oil. She said, go ask your neighbors for more pots and
Yep.
sell what you have in your house. So usually it's, you already have, use what you have,
Already.
use what you have,
Yep.
and it
Yep.
will also multiply it and grow. But you have to start out, unless you were born with a silver spoon and you were
Yeah.
born in.
Yeah. The nine there, I have maybe a African fufu cook spoon, but not a silver spoon. But I thank God my parents had that, and it gave us something to start with, right?
What you
Yeah.
have, unless you
Yeah.
the Bill Gates and you're born into the Gates family, so you already
Yeah.
kind of that ladder.
Yeah.
But if you're not on that level yet, use what you have. Everything is
Yes.
to get where you need to go.
Yes, and
So,
what you have could just be you. You know, we see it all the time. God has gifted us. We see all these influencers. You're like, what are they really doing at the end of the day? Just being who they are, getting on and selling themselves, selling other people's product. People send them hundreds of products just because of who they are and their bubbly personalities or whatever. So use what you have, use the oil, and God will multiply it. And
I,
and I will tell you too, just even starting somewhere is
mhm,
important, like just starting. And I think as you start and you walk the journey, a lot of times God won't show you things right then. He wants to grow your faith. Abraham, he said, just go, go. And he
yeah,
showed him along the way where he was going to become. He showed him, he gave him a little snapshot and preview, and he still said, just go. And Abraham was obedient and left. And
mhm,
when you leave and go, God will open your eyes more and more as you go. And that's what he really did for me, because as for my business, as much as I deal day to day with, all different people of all different walks of life, and I love it. My business is really rooted in Christ because I know that that's where I get direction from because people come and go and they sway like the waves in the ocean, but the
yeah,
person who's consistent is God. And for me, this is not just a business, it is a form of ministry to show love to people, to help people reach their goals. So I always anchor myself in that. It keeps me humble. It keeps me continuing to seek advice and wisdom from God and those He sends in my life. And it also gives me a sense of appreciation to know that, wow, how did I get here? It wasn't just me.
right,
And I think that's important too, to remember, anchor yourself around people and things who could motivate you and the starting point. So when you get there, you are humble and you're grateful and you can look back and help others too.
yeah, yeah, that's good. You said something about the having the right personality and
Mhm,
being, how your personality matters.
mhm.
Sometimes people want to open business, but the personality and the business don't
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
someone, for those. But some people may be more serious. You have some people who are more bubbly, more,
Yep, yep,
know how
yep,
to engage with other people. They have that energetic personality, and some people don't. So,
yeah.
what would you say to somebody who wants to go into business, but they're not the most bubbly? How how can you how others?
Look, get you a hype man, okay? And and I say that because I actually have a friend who, and I won't mention her name because I know she would laugh, but she doesn't like people. But her business involves people, so many times I'll coach her on like what to say, and I say get an amazing virtual assistant or intern for us who are starting and can't afford maybe a team yet, that will be able to help. But at the end of the day, too, your character is important in anything you do. So if you don't like people and you're going into a business that sells product, it could be an opportunity for you to shift your character and learn how to love people. And you're going to deal with all different types of people, and business people who are for you, people who are not for you. I've had situations where went into clients and people just did not, for some reason, respect a woman of color coming in giving them direction. But I had to walk in love. I had to walk with professionalism. And at the end of the project, they came to me and said, "Hey, I was not kind to you. I apologize. I don't know, why I treated you that way. You did well. I think it was just, I didn't know what to expect." So there's always an opportunity to learn and grow.
Mhm.
And sometimes that's in doing what you're not comfortable with, what you don't love. For those who are not people, they're not people, if that's the word I'm saying right. It's an opportunity for you to get to learn and love people, because you always need somebody, so I would say get to learn people, and in the interim, get you a good virtual assistant or somebody who could be the front man,
Yeah.
so you make good choices and have a good board of directors, I like to say, around you, who can help bounce ideas and help you as you're developing that character trait of loving people.
Because that plays a big part, especially if you're going to be
Hmm.
dealing having your own business and you want your clients to come and you
Yeah.
want people to leave, feeling like, wow, I really having a good customer service, they leave
Yeah.
feeling
Yeah.
they, they feel good about your product. You don't want them to walk out there and be like, oh my gosh, she was terrible. She had an attitude, girl.
Yeah.
No, I,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
those words travel to other people and then
Yeah.
you're not going to get customers that way. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
the thing
So
that people
true.
ask is, how do I get funding from my business?
Yes. So the money part is. Oh, sorry. Did I interrupt you, Miana? Did I
No,
cut
no,
you off?
go
Oh,
right
okay. So I
ahead.
was gonna say the money part is usually the most challenging for
Mhm,
people. They're like, "Oh, I don't have the money to start a business," but literally, it takes $155 to file a business with the state. Depending on where you are to
mhm.
start. If you really want to do this, you can put your mind to it and get that $155 and just start, or just. I even tell people a lot who are new to an idea, test it out. You don't even have to file your business yet, in a sense. And of course, everybody go to your business attorney who will give you direction. I'm not a business attorney. I'm just sharing my experiences. And if you need a good one, I can refer a lot to you. But um, get a, start off just with testing. Your close knit circle, and then from there, move to people who are outside that circle who will give you real good feedback. So for example, if you're starting a baking business and you want to really see if this is something that your family just tell you is good and it's not good, start out like with, okay, family and friends, and then from there try to connect with others outside of that circle who can be honest. Go to local bakeries and see if you could set up time to talk to the owner and share your product. Find circles or in community places where you can offer your products for free.
Yeah,
Test it out first to make sure that your idea is viable, because a lot of times our friends and family are going to always encourage us, but you
yeah,
find out that, okay, this isn't working. I remember when I started my business, I used to go live, and my niece, Gabby and Helen, who I saw come on, they supported me. I would be fumbling on those lives. The lighting would be terrible and everything. And they always rooted me, encouraged me, and then eventually I was like, you know what, y'all? No, we're going to have to upgrade and get me an office to do these lives. And, so in the beginning, people you love around you will always encourage you. But
mhm.
move from there. Oh, and I'm veering off of the question. You said funding. So, and
No,
then, so I
that's
always
good,
say for,
but that was a good tip. So, like you said, you have to have your product tested. So you don't always want the Paula Abdul. You want a Simon Cowell who will tell you the truth, right?
yeah, Paul Abdul.
Abdul,
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yep. But yeah, Paula was on. Mm-hmm.
this lesson,
Yes.
get that lesson, so you want to have a balance.
Yes, before you go looking for funding and investing your money into something that, honestly is maybe just a hobby and it's not what, a business idea for you. But eventually, you will get to that idea, because everybody, I believe, has something that they're great at that they could use to create a stream of income. It's just really figuring that out. But let's say you get to a point that you find a very viable idea, you're feeling really good about it. The first thing, you get your business set up with your state, and then from there, really, I'm going to tell you, business funding is out there and it's great, but some businesses are not ready for business funding.
Mhm.
There's grants and there is there's free money in a sense of grants and so forth. And a lot of times you have your business development centers in your city that you could find out. They have sometimes starting grants and starting
Yeah.
funding for small businesses. So I always say start there and see
Mhm.
what programs exist. But when it comes to loans and all those things, you really want to be seeing your business in a good place. And I would say at least 2 years. And most business loans, they give it to people who have at least, you have to have at least 2 years of business income before they even consider it. Why? Because most businesses don't make it after 2 years. They don't even make it up to 2 years. You see a
Oh,
lot of businesses fall off before you even get to 2 years. Once you start
mhm.
getting to 3, 4 years, you know that you're really in a growth stage and you're doing well, and that's a pat on the back. So I would say, before you start thinking of getting a business loan, test out your idea, use savings, really start small. Like I said, I didn't, I wanted to start small to see where it grew to. And I did that. And for the first 3 months of my business, if it encourages anybody, I didn't make money. And I was like, what's going on? But what God was doing is He gave me all these business certifications that help me now with contracting and other things. By month 3, I got my first project for
Wow.
$30,000. And I
Wow.
was like, what? I couldn't believe it. And I love that work. I love that client. And I say that to say, like, just don't rush it either. Don't rush. I wasn't making money. I did my little things I had to do on the side. I use savings, whatever it is. Don't be too, as an entrepreneur, you have to be willing to be flexible. Sometimes it was, hey, I'm about to do a door that, whatever it is to make it in the beginning, especially when I was in New York. I was like, look, you got to, if I'm going to do this, you got to push yourself. So you
Mm.
have to push yourself. And it really helps having a spouse. I'm married to lean on and all those things. But if you don't have that, if you don't have the support, then it's okay to do a 9 to 5 or do your um, business on the side because that funding is helping you. You're growing from your 9 to 5, and then eventually you'll get to a point where you could do it full time. I think there's a big, and I'll end here. There's a big, misconception that the internet shows or social media that, oh, mama, I made it when, I'm working for myself. No, mama, I still, take some time to make it past working for yourself because you have to try to sustain that. You have to pay employees. You have to do all these things. And I feel like it's always this bad rap of letting go of your 9 to 5 to say you made it. No, there's a lot your 9 to 5 can help you with. You can
I
grow, you can have the income coming in until you really see your idea grow and develop. Then you
agree.
can pair off. So I think it's important to mention that we got to get out what we see on social media. It's not always that's not always the case.
Not always the case, right,
Yeah.
right. And then too, a lot of the time with social media, I feel like sometimes they have like this, um, they have their camera life and what they say, but then the reality is completely different. So they're
Yeah.
presenting you this glamorous life, but you really don't get to see the background of what it took for them to get there. You don't know if they're
Yep.
in what they're going through. They're just presenting their, themselves and what they do, and you're
Yeah.
feeding into it, not realizing the work that goes into it. So you can't always go by social media. Don't
Yes.
um
Yep.
don't, think that your success is based on what you see someone do on social media, on Instagram. Well, she's an Instagram model and she makes,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
she this person pushes this product and they're making all this money and they've been in there for 1 month and they've already watch out for these quick get rich quick ideas
Yep.
and
Yep.
products. It takes, think about it, right? You want anything of value is going to take time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
work is going to take time. You're gonna have to put the work in order to, to
Mhm.
get the results. When you're cooking a good meal, especially something
Mhm.
that's made from scratch, it
Yeah.
tastes than something you just do from Dunkin' Heinz.
Yep. That's
So
true.
anything
Hmm.
of value takes time and it takes work. So you have
Yes.
to put in the work and not think
Yes.
you're going to blow up overnight.
Oh, yes, and it's nothing. And somebody had a question that I wanted to just address because I don't know if you can see it, Miata. Do you want to do questions now or?
We No, we could do a question. Go ahead.
Okay, yes. So it says, where can an LLC obtain startup loan? Is it solely SBA or are there other alternative sources? There's absolutely alternative sources. The SBA is great. And I know everybody was coming up on during COVID with their SBA loans. But I would highly recommend, especially for a lot of small businesses, to look up community development financial institutions, which are CDFIs, and
Uh-huh.
those are going to be your local community, like nonprofits and organizations that are geared to help small businesses get funding. So they have a lot of programs where the interest rates will be low. They have a lot of cool ways where they will work with you with your business, and then they'll also guide you to make sure that you're being responsible with those loans. But you can really look up, just Google in your city, like where are your CDFIs that can help you look for, loans. And they work with the bigger banks, and they usually work with people's credit. So sometimes, as a small business owner, maybe, your credit's not perfect, but it's good enough. They will be able to help complement where maybe a bigger institution is not able to, really give you that grace. I will tell you that's definitely the way to go for myself. I went to a regular business for my, funding for my business, a regular bank, I should say, because I built a rapport with that bank, which I don't know if I could shout out or say names. I don't want to if I can't, but they, if I don't know if that's okay, Mia. Are you okay with that? Okay, yes, I have to shout them out because they've been amazing. I've worked through my business with US Bank. They've
Mhm.
been awesome. They have done a lot to help my business. But what I loved about them is they taught me through the process. They coached me. They sent me to places for my business. They sent me to Seattle to go and get some great certifications and training for my business. I'm going to be on a commercial in the next few months that they paid for my business. So I developed a relationship. So I say this to say, first, I love US Bank and I'm thankful for them. But not only that, it's about relationships.
Mhm.
So you have to build a relationship with everything you do, because there are times where you may not be qualified, but they're willing to take a risk. Because at the end of the day, there are underwriters who look at your work, your credit, and all that, and they make the decision. But if you have relationships, sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know that opens doors. And for me, I would have to say, by the grace of God, He's given me so much opportunity to really know how to steward relationships, that a lot of things that's come my way, I really believe it's because of that, and because of you sow great seeds into people, you do things with an open heart, you help people, and it comes back to you. So I would say, um, start building a relationship now. Even if you know you're not there credit wise, get with the bank, find a good CDFI organization, and say, hey, I want to get funding eventually for my business, and start working with them now. Take some of their classes. A lot of them, like a lot of the nonprofits that offer those fundings, they also have like small business courses and training. You can always come to Push, and then Push can refer you to some. But they also, I do a lot of our work is also partnering with some of those organizations to teach and train small businesses. So I actually do that as well, through some of those organizations. But I would say you have, there's so many options outside of just SBA, and SBA is great too as well. You just have to figure out what works for you.
Yeah, that was a good question. Who
Yeah.
asked? We can shout.
That was Shay Larson. So thank you, Shay. That was a good question. Thank you for watching, and thank you for watching. I see a few people watching. Can you see me out? Otherwise, I'm gonna say hi to the people.
Who's watching. So if you can shout them out. And thank you everybody for watching. We
Yes,
appreciate you.
hi Bridget. I see you watching, and Shay and Helen and Gabby. See, those are only the people who put comments, so I can't see if anybody else is watching. But to anybody who's watching, thank you for joining us. We're excited to have you.
If
Yeah.
anyone else have any questions, you can type it in there and she will get to it. And she'll give you the tools that you need to kind of get you started with your business and where you're trying to go. All right. So
Yeah.
point about not leaving your 9 to 5 before,
Yes.
because you started a business, and like you said, you don't want to. It takes what you said, 1 to 2 years before you.
For you to really get like considered a business that's going, that's gonna make it, or at least starting to make it, it will be 2 years. So that's when you'll get most of the actual funding, or start to, it's just even get to a point where you're taken seriously after 2 years. So really, you don't, I would highly recommend, don't, if you don't have to leave a
Right.
9 to 5, stay as long as you can. We're in a different world now, I think, where people understand the power of entrepreneurship, and more companies are respecting and understanding that people want to branch out.
Mhm.
So it's just how you do things. And at the end of the day, some things are just not people's business, and I think sometimes we talk so much, which is always something that I think is not that you're hiding. You don't want to be, to me, integrity is number one with everything I do. So you don't want to cut corners, but sometimes it's just not a problem. It's just you don't have to talk about it till you really feel like you're at a place where it's ready to talk about and ready to start thinking of ways to transition.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. I think with anything, you want to kind of protect it until it develops more, and then
Yeah.
yeah, here it is. So I was
Yeah.
gonna ask you, when it comes to credit, right? Let's say someone
Mhm.
wants a business and their credit's not the best. What would you advise them to do? What would you recommend?
Well, it depends really. Do they have to get funding? If they
If they-
know their credit's not well, I would
Yeah.
say to focus on that first, because the way you manage your personal finances is going to eventually roll into how you manage your business finances. And if you are not managing personal finances well, or just balancing, how
Mhm.
business is not easy. Like
Yeah.
it's easy when you get to a point of understanding that it's growing to where you want it to go.
Yeah.
And if you can't manage, you know being able to, sometimes you have, depending on the business model, with clothing, I would have, people could buy all the time.
Mhm.
With this, my business I do now is project based. We do contracts. I had to learn how to manage. Okay, if I have a break between contracts, oh great, I manage the fundings, so it takes us to our next break. Those are all things you have to really be strategic, have a budget. I sit with my CFO. We talk about, where we're at in our goals. We want to see ourselves grow. I have to put in work to get, contracts, and work with all the great partners I have that have their firms that come in and support. It takes a lot of strategy, a lot of patience, and a lot of responsibility. Because
Yeah.
there's many times I look at my business account and I'm like, that would be nice to go and do X, Y, Z, and I'm like, nope, there's a plan. And or I'm like, oh, let me just pay myself, and I want to call. Nope, I pay. This is how I get paid. You have to be responsible. So if you can't do that with your personal, and you're struggling with your credit, work on those principles, those
Yeah.
wealth principles, and those budgeting principles first. So when by the time you get your business, you're going to be set. And again, none of us are perfect. We're going to, with credit, it's a unique political thing. Sometimes it's not even that you that month you had to purchase a big product for your business, so then, oh, your credit score goes down because you use it, and then next month you get the money and you pay it off because you did it, your credit goes up. So sometimes it could be up and down, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure you're responsible with your finances before you even consider looking at doing business full time, or work your way into it. Start small, and like we said, and work your way up. That's just my personal, advice.
Yeah. You recently shared with me a video about budgeting and credit and how to, delay gratification. Can you just touch on that a little bit? What does that mean, delay
Yeah.
gratification?
Yes, and thank you, Marlon. Thank you for watching. I saw somebody popped in a comment. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. We
Thank
really appreciate it. But I would say that video really hit home for me, because um, I feel like a lot of times we want to see our success overnight, and
you.
I cannot tell you the power of delayed gratification, because if I had the responsibility that I have every day now with my business when I first started, I probably would have failed, because it was a lot to manage, from the people to the relationships to the contracts to the size of the contracts, so many
Yeah.
things. And you know, I've realized that it's important to wait on your time, and it's even more important that the video touched on. It was actually Dave Ramsey, for you all who follow Dave Ramsey. And there's a young lady who, paid off 230 something thousand in debt. And she said one of her, the way she did it is delayed gratification. She just said, I'm not going to be able to do some things for a while. And as a business owner, that's was my story. I came from a pretty great paying job into business, and came into business. And then when you start, you have to work your way up. Sometimes I had to pay employees before I paid myself. I had to, my first, second year, I wasn't making what I was making when I was working in the corporate world. But I knew that if with the right timing, and my husband will always be my, sounding board, because I'll be like, oh, should I just go back to a 9 to 5? Should I just, why am I here? I can't be doing this. And then he would tell me, I said, the journey of 1,000 miles started with one step.
Ooh, I like
Keep
that. That's a good.
working towards it. And he's a man of wisdom, that he may not, he won't, I could whine all day. He'll just give me a parable. And I'm like, look, I'm not, Jesus, look, stop talking. Yeah, but the point is, he really helped me to look at, the importance of the wait and delayed gratification. And now I look back and I'm like, wow, where I
Yeah,
was able to come with the right people, the right support, and just the ability to wait on God's timing. So sometimes we have that delayed gratification. It hurts. It feels like you want to give up. But for those who persevere and keep pushing and don't give up, you're
yeah,
going to see the results like that young lady did. So it's really important to just have that be a mentality you have when you're doing business or anything. The good things come to those who wait.
yeah, yeah. And like you said, you're not going to always be able to want to do the things that you want to do when you're starting out in business, because your
Hmm.
business need, and it's not needful for you to have these new pair of shoes. It's not needful for you to go
Yeah.
um, to buy this new purse, right? Because your
Yeah.
business that need right now, and you want to kind of put all your time into your business, or even building your credit, getting your life
Hmm.
insurance. I think that a lot of times when we come to the kingdom of God, a lot of people feel like once I'm saved, that's it. But there's more to Christ than just getting saved and having
Mm.
enough. You
Yeah.
want the Bible leaving a legacy behind, leaving
Yeah.
things behind for the next generation, having generational wealth and being able to help other people. And you can't
Yeah.
really do that if you're in bondage to debt, if you're in
Yeah.
bondage to bad credit,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
So true.
Yeah, that's part of being like the whole person, is to be whole in all areas of your life, financially, spiritually, health wise. That's part of
Yeah.
being whole and healed and healthy. So it's
Yes.
important to be able to, like you said, discipline yourself in those
Mhm.
areas.
Yeah.
And no, I can't go skydiving this month
Yeah.
because your light bill needs to be paid, and the credit's
Yeah.
about to turn up. I can't do this because I'm working on this credit card. So you have,
Yeah.
like she said, you have to be willing to put in the work in order to
Yeah.
get results.
Yes,
So
it's so true. So true. And I'm thankful, like I said, because I see where I started, and I'm so excited. I'm like, wow, I never, I didn't, I'm just shocked sometimes when I look at my, where I have come to, and to see this type of success. I know first is God, I think, but really it was the fact of really putting in the work and trusting the process and being okay with the wait.
yeah,
And I would say too that, a lot of times that's what would differentiate you from others. Many
mhm,
people would have gave up a long time ago, but the fact that you keep pushing towards it will really help. So it's important for the delayed gratification, and know that this walk, and that's in your career, you're doing that job and you feel like you're not getting a promotion. Just keep working at it, keep trusting the process, keep having faith. eventually you're going to see the results. But in business, that's important. And the people I look up to, I see that's their story. They pushed forth, they didn't give up, they had to put some things aside, they had to, make decisions. And even for myself, my theme this year is looking like kingdom in every area of my life. I can be satisfied right now where I am and be like, oh, this is good. Like, I'm seeing the money I never saw before. I'm seeing, success in a way I never saw. But that's not I'm a natural person who's going to keep being ambitious. But I say it's not enough until I can be able to solve the problems of nations and go back home to Africa and provide for a whole city food and build school systems that help right here in America to solve problems for people and not have to worry about making sure my problems are still well. It's not enough for me. So I feel like a lot of times we have to just keep in mind that yeah, you can make it, but making it to me is being able to be blessed to be a blessing to others. So my theme is to look like kingdom in every area of my life, so I can be able to do that and not have to double check or whatever the case is. I want God said we should have abundance. So abundance means that I can give and not have to worry. I want to be a lender and not a borrower. I am the head and not the tail. I'm above and not beneath. I
Yeah.
say this to my daughter all the time, and I'm like, I can't stop where I am now. And that's why I still have to keep those principles of delayed gratification and not think about buying Louis bags or whatever, is trending because I want to, not to say I don't treat myself, we should, but you want to be able to treat yourself, take care of yourself, reward yourself, but look like kingdom. So others out there, when they look at you, they're like, they want to see that whole holistic
Yeah.
place of success. So it draws them to God even more. Like, hey, how did you? I know where you came from, and you can be able to really say, this is how, and you have a testimony to share. So I encourage that for myself and others. Like, don't let it just be in part A, B, C. Let it be your whole holistic self that you look your best. So yeah.
That's good. That's good. Um, like we're touching on legacy and leaving something behind for the next generation, whether it's people in our family or, like you said, communities, right? We have people who have passed on, but we're still eating the fruits of their labor, what they did
Yeah.
before. So,
Yeah.
how would you how would you advise someone how to build generational wealth and how to
Yeah.
maintain?
I think building generational wealth is thinking and doing things that are bigger than just solving your own immediate family problems. So for me, like I have multiple business streams that either I'm working on or that are in fruition that are beyond just making sure my family and my daughters and my household are blessed.
Mhm.
Because you can't change generations if you're only thinking about yours. You have to
Right.
think about others. You have to think about community.
Yeah.
So think of ideas that are way bigger than you that seem scary, and
Mm,
that's how you're going to build generational wealth.
mm,
And then think about things that help uplift others who are in unfortunate situations. To me, that's building generational wealth, because now you're pushing yourself to change a narrative for a huge community who will then be able to duplicate what your efforts are. So I'm also big on duplication. So even a lot of I'm so thankful for every consultant I work with. Some of them have their own firms. Some of them are. I taught them consulting because I wanted to duplicate my efforts, because to me that's building wealth now for generations, not just my own, but that individual now. They're building wealth. They're finding another stream of income to help their family, and so forth and so forth. That's the goal, to help
ah,
duplicate your efforts and be bigger than yourself. And a lot of times we get intimidated. Sometimes I've seen that where
mhm.
people are like, "Oh, why are you bringing this person, or why are you helping them? What if they run off with this or what?" I'm like, "Look, what is for me, what God has for me is for me, okay? Now, I ain't saying I don't have an attorney who will come after come after you if need be. I do got that one on speed dial, because sometimes we have to operate in order and decency, but at the same time, I'm not intimidated, because I know that there's nobody else like myself, and my goal is to really help set generations free. So I would say really think of ideas that are bigger than you.
Mhm.
That's a start to building generational wealth, and work on that day to day. So my business, Push Strategist LLC, is going, but I'm already thinking of the next and on to the next venture that will help take it now to another level while still bringing Push Strategists to a global level.
Mhm.
So, again, think of things that are bigger than you.
Mhm.
If and I love Gabby put in the chat. She said you can't change generations if you're only thinking about yourself, and it's
Yeah.
just whack. I mean, who wants to just do something for themselves? Like, I'm like,
Ah,
social entrepreneurship isn't like, if I'm not doing something that helps communities, I
mhm.
mean, it doesn't even, like, I don't even care to hear about it. It's
Yeah,
just not a it's just whack to me. Like,
that
it's
was
just
really
too many
good.
problems in the world for us to just be thinking about ourselves. And so that's exactly what Gabby said. If you can't change generations, if you can't change generations if you're only thinking about yourself. And it's so true. It's so
Mhm.
true. So thank you, Gabby, for adding that to the chat.
Thank you for putting that in there. I can't wait to read
Yeah.
some of the comments. I
I
can't just
know. I'm like, oh, I'm getting spoiled. I'm on you're spoiling me
yeah.
on your show. I get to read your chats. Thank you for letting me feel special today. Woo.
I think I'm gonna steal it.
Yes, yes, Gabby. Gabby's a wordsmith. I know she has a business too that she may be the next one on here. Who knows?
Yeah, those of you who do have a business who's watching, you can shout out your business because it's all about
Yes.
there is room at the table for everybody.
Yes, please do. And I see Thea. Hi, Thea. She's
Really,
on here too.
yeah.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, how
It's
you
so
doing,
nice
Mia?
to see you, Thea. Yes, I'm so happy to see her. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing all these cat stuff. I'm so sorry, Mia, that you're not getting the fun
I
part of
know,
this.
I know. I can scroll up, but no, you keep, let them keep
Yeah.
responding. By watching, you can drop the name of your business in the chat section, and
Yeah.
just market your business. Tell us what you do, what you're all about, and
Yeah.
how you connect. So
Yes, exactly. Please do.
yeah, so I really like this point also what you said about the not being intimidated, and you may have a product, right, that someone else is doing. Someone else may be doing the same exact thing as you do, but there's room for everybody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And when you think about it in the book of Daniel, there are many wise men, there are many dream interpreters, right?
Mm.
But Daniel was gifted to not only just interpret the dream, but God gave him the revelation of what the king dreamt about. So it may seem like it's similar, but everybody has something that their brand that makes their brand a little bit more different and unique in its
Yeah.
own. What I'm trying to say. So you don't have to feel intimidated because I do here and you do here, and it's gonna you might take my customer, I might take your customer. There is something for everybody, and you may have the answer that someone needs, and it can only come directly from you. So
Yeah.
feel like you can't partner up with someone who is doing something that's similar to what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I'm a little
love that.
tight today. I don't know why, but go ahead. Maybe
Oh
because
no, I don't hear crack. You said it's cracking. I don't hear cracking at all.
I'm a little tongue tied today.
Oh no, I didn't even notice that at all. I was just like nodding, like agreeing with you. Yes, yes. It's probably because you don't have control of your chat. And I got
That's what it is.
I'm teasing. I said probably because you don't got control of your chat. I'm
Yeah,
controlling the chat here.
I'm just no, but there really is room for everybody at the table, and
Yeah,
you may be the answer that someone needs.
yeah,
What your particular product is the answer to someone else. So
yeah,
you don't have to feel like you're in competition with someone because
yeah,
there's God has a wealth, he has
yeah,
heaven that he wants to generate wealth to you, to your family, to your community. And it's not just going to come through one person. He wants everybody to be blessed.
yeah. Yep,
Every,
yep,
no. He wants everybody to succeed. So
yep,
don't
yep,
because someone has a if their brand looks better than yours, or if you feel like they're more talented than you, that you cannot succeed. That's not
yeah.
what you can
It's
always
so
learn
true.
from someone,
Yep,
always learn something from someone. So
so
even with
true, so true.
basketball players, there's a lot of basketball players, but they always
Yeah,
MJ was the greatest. Kobe's
Mm.
the, they were able to get something from the other basketball players, even though
Yeah, yeah.
they're against one another, quote
Yep.
unquote. But they
So
still
true.
admire the dedication and the hard work of the other players that went before them.
Yep.
So
So true. And I remember I did a podcast episode and I was talking about, we get so caught up in like your customers and if you're gonna be successful and so forth. But there's what, how many, 70 billion people on earth, or it's like 700 billion or something like that. And if just think about your 1%. I was calculating, what if I just had 1% of the earth, or even less than 1% 0.002%. It's still so many clients, like I
yeah,
could live and feed, people for decades off of what I make off of that group. So sometimes if we put it in perspective that way, like there's just so many people on earth. Who is called to you
yeah,
and who are you called to? And you just focus on that person and those that target market,
mhm,
and you'll be well, because there's just never enough, like, time in the day even to serve everybody. So I think it's so powerful to collaborate, and that's what my firm is about. We collaborate with so many great consultants who do all this amazing work, because I realized that when I was doing the work solo, God really gave me a revelation like, hey, I want you to start to collaborate. And
yeah,
my problem was that I work a certain way that I was like, oh no, I don't know if they'll work. Who am I going to find that works like me? I'm like, go, 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 go. And it was like, my baby is your baby when you start a business.
uh,
And then eventually he said, you got to trust me, and he started sending amazing people who were some smarter than me. I can say confidently, and I'm okay. I know my lane of where I am. They're brilliant people with data analytics and IT and all this work that they do, and
yeah,
they brought their brilliance and they were like, hey, let's partner and do this. And we started to do projects together, and we were successful, and we have fun. We all win. We're able to be respected as consultants of color, which a lot of times people want to underpay, and I'm like, not us. You're not gonna do that to us, And it's just one of those things where it allowed us to, like they say, a fist is better than a finger. I could have kept going by myself and just, getting a little chunk of the pie, rather than collaborate and bring all this excellence. Their businesses are growing, my business is growing. We all are. So it's just important to find people you could collaborate, that you could trust, that have the same vision, or they just are willing to say, hey, let's put our heads together, because you will be so much more impactful. And that doesn't have to be the case for everybody, but I'll tell you, in the past few years, I really saw the power of collaboration and how it helped me thrive. And I'm very selective with who I collaborate with. That's the big piece. Like, I
that
don't just
real
I
person.
don't just take I
Yeah,
don't just work with anybody. Like, I pray about it. I
mhm,
ask God, I feel, how does my spirit feel about this person, and how do we work to how will it work with the rest of the dynamic of the group? And I'm so thankful that I've always connected with great people who are comfortable in their own skin. They know what they're great at. They love what they do. They truly, authentically want to help communities of color, and the work we do and uplift it. So it's worked well. So that's a big thing. Like, don't just pick any Susie, Billy, Bob.
uh,
Be discerning. Use discernment. Because that's key. My company would not be where it is if I had not used discernment and really went to the place of prayer as well when
yeah,
making some of these business decisions. So for those of you that don't have a prayer life and you're like, where do I start? Hit me up. I can send you a few pointers. And your prophetic type here, Miata, prayer warrior. So, start there, and let that guide you as you're doing this work and business and so forth. You need to seek that wisdom and be discerning, so you don't make mistakes that jeopardize your generational wealth you're building.
yes, yes. It really does matter the people who you connect with, especially
Hmm.
something that is going to change generations. You have to be very careful and very selective,
Yes, you do.
person to derail the whole train. So
It does. It does. And I've learned those journeys too. I've learned and I was like, oh, thank
mm,
God. And God, I spared myself a lot of trouble, because again, the reason you have to be protective as well is
yeah,
because you're helping to build wealth for others. And if I make the wrong decision, it impacts all of us,
yeah,
So
yeah,
be mindful, of who you're collaborating with, but be
mhm,
open and trusting. If you feel that, that connection, try it in a small scale and then work your way up and see how it grows, what it grows to.
mhm. So what are some tips for networking and advertising your business? What's the best way?
Man, I would tell you, for me, it's really organic relationships, authentic, being true to myself.
Mhm,
I would say my business has really grown because of my love for meeting new people, networking,
mhm,
just being who I am, and really authentically engaging people. I would say
yeah,
social media, that thing is not easy. Okay, I'm never gonna tell y'all. I have mastered it. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get some great, support there. So but I'll tell you, that has, been fun with some of my other things I do for business. Like we have the Empower You Sis event that we did, Miata, and the social media. I met a young lady off of there who found us, and her, she said her life was changed from it. So social media is a great thing, and I say try your best to find your lane in it, and find what networks work for you. So for me, we use Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is probably where a lot of our clients are when it comes to the coaching and development. But Instagram, I could find a lot of people to do that are startups or want to start a business. So I try my best to use that. But I would say my success for me personally has been networking,
mhm,
meeting people, and
mhm,
I don't just sit and wait for it to come to me. Like I push forward. If I know I will make, at the top of the year, or at the end of the year I should say, in the fourth quarter, I start planning, where do I want to see myself? What
mhm,
places do I want to see my business that we haven't been? What type of clients? And I start mapping then how
mhm,
to start in 2024 to get there. I don't wait till the new year. I've already did my setup back in 2023, earlier. So it's now just about me, really planning it out and putting it to work. So I would say really, be use LinkedIn, use resources you have right there, get out, network, get to meet new people. It doesn't just come to you. And going back to what you said, Miata, you have to learn how to have that character of being a nice person or being authentic. I think networking, people always think, what can I get from it? What
yeah,
can you give?
mhm,
And that's one of the things I teach, because I have a networking training to help people who are maybe introverts or just want to know how to grow their business through networking. We have a training on
mhm,
our website, and I would say one of the things that have really helped is that, what can I bring, not always what I can gain. Sometimes I'm networking not even for myself, for somebody else I know, and I was like, oh, I'm like, oh, I have a cousin Miata
yeah,
who has this, and I want to connect you guys. It's not always, I don't always leave every networking event for myself gaining something, but I'm able to do it for somebody else, and that's
mhm.
okay too. Just be organic, and put your best foot forward for not just you, but for others in your circle who you can help too.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's good. And you really did that too, especially with the Empower You Sis. You brought in different women from like different backgrounds, and they were able to talk about the areas that they specialized in, and everybody got something from it. There were people there who wanted to start business. There were people there who were in the medical field. There were women of all backgrounds there, and they
Mm,
were able to they were able to present what they had without
mm.
feeling intimidated or like, you know,
Yeah.
everybody left receiving something
Yes. Yeah.
in return, so it was an exchange between all parties, I would say.
Yes. That was a
Sorry.
blast. And you tore it up and was so amazing. um, but it really, I felt like, again, it goes back to having people use their own voice and making an event that's not where you're just being talked at, but you're talking, you're bringing questions. So everybody wins, because it's about pushing everybody to their goal and purpose. And that event is powerful, a powerful time. I learned so much from all the women as well. You know, I came in also anticipating what I could walk away with, and I walked away with a lot of great information. And you were awesome in all of them, but you tore it up. Okay, I'm so grateful you were able to come and support us in Minneapolis here, and I look forward to having you next year. This year, oh my gosh, next year, this year, by God's grace.
Tell them a little bit more about the Empower You Sis event.
Yeah, so Empower You Sis. So Push Strategist LLC, like I said, we have all these great products and services, but a lot of our work is really about pouring into people and doing personal development that leads to, because it starts from the inside out. Once you have that inside set, then you
Mhm.
could be successful in your career, you can be successful in your business and all those things. So 3 years, with the 3 years, 2020 actually, I had my first, I guess, version of Empower You, but it was a pep rally, and you
Yes,
were there with us and Alex and a bunch of other great women. We had
yes,
about 40 of us online, and I just really felt led to uplift women in the time of the pandemic and make
yeah,
people not feel like they have to stay in a place of froze. Like, we can
yeah,
still push forward. So we had a lot of fun. Then I took a break and I came back in 2022, and now last year 2023 with Empower You Sis, and it's about uplifting women, elevating women, and building a network. That's
yeah,
really our pillars of the event. So you're coming in to feel uplifted and be empowered in the fourth quarter of the year to really end the year strong. You're learning and building knowledge from whatever the topic is for the year. Last year we talked about health and wellness, and we had doctors of color. You know, it was so amazing. The space that we had it at was owned by a woman of color, a beautiful space she has for her business, and we had nurses, and we had a nurse practitioner who focuses on mental health. And I mean, it was a blast. And then we had Miata come and really end with your inner healing, and just, it was powerful. You guys all did a amazing job and touched on things that women need for health and wellness.
yeah,
And again, the event is about all of us speaking. So it's like you all spoke, but we also left the floor open for every woman to speak.
yes,
Some women shared their stories of where they had issues in the hospital setting with pregnancy and maternity health, and you know, what else, fibroids and all these things. And it was about creating a space for, hey EJ, I see EJ on. It's so nice to see EJ. It was creating a space for a woman to be able to find a community and a safe space to share their stories, but also let's combat these issues by putting preventative measures. And our Dr. Grace really shared a lot of things we should be doing to take care of ourselves. And Miata, you shared so much on just relationships and people, and surrounding yourself, boundaries, and all these things as women that we need to take care of our health and wellness. And I mean, it was beautiful, and we ended off the event just really pouring back into women, speaking
yeah,
over them, giving them their flowers, you know,
yeah,
celebrating, having fun, taking headshots, looking beautiful. Thank you, Sandra, who did all that. So at the
yeah.
end of the day, it's just a really, it's just like a good end of the year wrap up. And our
Mhm.
goal this year is to do fun events up until that event, and really make it even bigger and better. I couldn't ask for it to be any better, honestly. And the feedback we received
Yeah,
was that people were like, this was extraordinary. So we want to keep doing that in greater ways. So I'm excited. If you're not in Minneapolis, you have to come October. I haven't finalized the date yet, but it's going to be in October. It's usually around there first or second weekend in October. But we hope to have you come, have fun. We want you to just be uplifted and come to Minnesota. It's not too cold at that time, so it wasn't too bad, right, Miata? It wasn't so cold where
oh, used to
yeah.
it.
So
Rhode Island, I think people will be they're used to it right now.
yes, please come. I would love to. We would take care of you. We will make sure you have what you need, but we will make sure you leave full.
Yeah.
And that's the theme I heard. People felt, I feel so full, like I feel
Mm,
so ready to go. You know, I feel like I could finish my year strong and go into my year strong, and that's the goal, really helping people to have that. So it's awesome, and I like I said, I want to do it bigger and better. We want to come together and do it bigger and better. So look for more information soon for the next Empower You Sis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you come back on here for like a maybe on like a quarterly basis so you can
Yes, I would love that. It's so fun answering the questions. And then now that people know, maybe they'll have, they can even pre-submit their questions or something as well. Because at the end of the day, we just want to get the right information. Like I said, I'm not a tax attorney. I'm not a business attorney. I'm sharing from my experience. So nobody come and say they're suing me for X, Y, and Z. This is just
right.
my experience. If you want the expertise, go to business tax attorney, which I'm happy to give me out of some leads for you all. But at the
Yes.
end of the day, it's my journey, and I wanted to be transparent with that with you all so you could be successful as you're pursuing yours. So thank you for this platform and opportunity, Miata.
No, you're absolutely welcome. I think I have a couple more questions, but yes, like she said,
Yeah.
she's not a tax attorney. So if you're looking for that specific type of information,
Yeah.
please consult with a tax attorney.
Yes. Or if you need if you're looking just for financial coaching or and guidance, I have a great person, Gloria, who can hook you up. I have a lot of those too. So you
Mhm.
just tell me out of what you need after. I'm sure she has the email or so forth for the show, or reach out to us at Push Strategists.
Just link in there so that way they know
Yeah.
to you if they want to do a follow up with you about some of the things that we touched on, or if they just need consulting. So
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited because I know you have more questions, so I won't go into some of the things we have going on, but there's definitely going to be ways for people to plug in and
mhm.
get that coaching at in a great way where it's affordable. In this New Year's, we're planning with some group coaching things we have coming up, but I'll share more about that at the end.
Okay, all right. And I was gonna say that I really enjoyed the event that we had, the Empower USIS event in Minnesota. And
Yeah.
for me, like you said, it was the group of women that were in there, and everyone that was there, they left feeling fulfilled. They left
Yeah.
see people's spirits just being lifted when they left out of there. And I think there was this one point in it where you had this game called "What Do You Need, Sis?" And I shared a little
Yeah.
bit. I tell the person's all their business, but you started the icebreaker. You had this icebreaker game, and it
Mhm.
was basically, "What do you need, sis?" And you went around the room asking people what they needed. And
Yeah.
um, a lot of the women stood up and said, "Hey, I need this. I need a job." And someone said, "Hey, you need a job. Listen, I can connect you."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I took that event to one of my coworkers, and I was talking to one of my
Mhm.
coworkers about the event and specifically about that icebreaker. And
Mhm.
after I told her that, a couple of minutes later, she followed me into the break room and she was
Mhm.
going through a crisis. And
Mhm.
that game, because of that icebreaker, she was able to
Mhm.
ask for prayer. Just something,
Oh, wow, wow.
and this person
Mm.
was battling with seasonal depression.
Wow, wow.
Game, because it really resonated within in my spirit. Because how often do we actually
Mm.
need
Yeah, I'm telling you, so true, so true.
to do to
We
help?
forget that. Mhm.
So that just kind of made
Wow.
out of myself and to realize that there are people in here who have these different needs. And like you said, you may
Mm.
have the answer that someone else needs. So you have to be sensitive.
Yes.
Because of
Yeah.
that, it led me to another person who was a believer, but she was able to ask for prayer and to
Yeah.
situation because of that. So thank you so much
Yeah.
for being sensitive to the spirit of God and to because
Oh, of
we
course.
how do we engage? What do we say?
Yeah. And we did a lot leading up to there, setting the atmosphere and the tone for that. So thank you too, like just your willingness to ensure that people leave, it wasn't a money making thing, that was not at all the goal. It's not, I'm not gonna sell you to come so we can, hit numbers. I'm gonna sell you to come so you can leave full and free. And
Mm,
that's what I feel like you know I heard, and I know I sent the video recap to you, so we'll make
mm,
sure it's posted. I need to actually post that too, where people shared their testimonies at the end, and every testimony was like, I was blown away. I did not expect this. I was I mean, people really, it was my first time watching it, just like a week ago, I think it was. And I was like, wow, I was so blessed to know that it was that impactful from, the woman. Some of them I never met before. That was my first time seeing them. And they were like, they had no reason to say they weren't, filled. And they were like, man, I really had an amazing time and I can't wait for next year. So it just gives me more reason to really get on it because I want them to even it to be better and better, for them. So
And the
yes,
information that we got, especially
yes,
pregnancy and giving birth,
yeah, yep.
the
Prepare yourself. Yep,
so many women there that had like really, like I didn't
yep,
know I could ask for that. I didn't know I
yep,
could speak. I didn't know I could talk to this person. Like they didn't
yeah,
know doctors were there and they were able
yep,
to point them in the right direction. No, you can talk to
yep,
this. No, you don't have to settle for that when you go to the hospital.
yep,
So
yep.
it was like so
So
informative.
good.
Like
It
I'm not
was.
like, wow, okay. Let me take
Yeah,
notes. When you get married and you have your kids, you can ask
yeah,
that
yeah. It
what
really was. Yeah.
you
It was so helpful because, a lot of women are preparing for that, and you don't have somebody to teach you. Like one of the ladies said in the video, she's like, my family and we didn't talk about, some of these issues that I face as a woman, and it was a place where I felt like I could ask questions that I never knew about, like what leads to fibroids, why is it, all these things that, and some questions we didn't even have enough time. So next year is going to be this year. I keep saying next year. This year is going to be longer,
Mhm.
but it really, it just helps you get answers. And it was such a safe environment. Like I felt like, and it's for everybody. I told it was not just, it's every woman. We uplifted issues that women of color face, but
Yeah.
we want to see every woman, no matter your size, color. We want you there, because I don't know why I said size. I'm thinking of my fashion days. But, no matter what your background is, your race, or anything, because it it's really going to take everybody to change some of the narratives we see impacting women of color, and we want everybody's perspective. So I say don't feel intimidated that it's just a rep for black and brown women. It's for any woman who wants to see women walk in their fullness and their grace and all those beautiful things that we all deserve and desire. So come next year, no matter what, come and you will be blessed. And men, don't worry, we'll have something for you guys to come to eventually. But this event specifically is for women, but there's a lot more for you too.
Yes, I agree. Is there
Yes.
that you want to say to women of color who want to start their own business? Is there anything, any words of wisdom, anything, just little nuggets to kind of encourage them?
Goodness, if I would really say um come into it with an
Mhm,
open mind, open heart, because a lot of time as women of color, we face so much. So we do come with our guards up.
mhm,
And most of the times your guards are up for a rightful reason. Like I was telling you guys, I had people who just judged me just because I was a woman of color coming in to tell them, how to do a job, and they didn't feel comfortable with that. But even in that sense, come with an open heart, open mind when you're going into business. Know that you're going to face that, but don't let that make you jaded. You
mhm,
keep your love, you keep your joy, you keep your peace, you keep pushing, and I'll tell you, there was a situation where one person, they really literally dogged me out the way they talk, like, oh, who are you? And they kind of talked so negative, but I
wow,
treated that person with such kindness and grace. And that same person, a few months later, I was able to connect with them in another space.
mhm,
And it's like they just saw my growth and my ability to see my business thrive, that
mhm,
they ended up being such a blessing to the business. Now they're one of our biggest cheerleaders. Yeah,
wow,
I didn't like the feeling of how they treated me when they didn't know who I was, or I wasn't like a known person to them, or but I just carried myself with grace and confidence to know I don't care if you don't know who I am. I know who I am and I know who I'm going to be. And just a few months later, we had just really grown tremendously, and they were just they start to hear about us from other people. And you know, I say yes, it's easier to give an attitude or to be like, yep, yeah, I made it. You didn't know me. But it's so much better to have grace and kindness, because let your testimony speak for itself. Eventually they saw and heard from people where we were going and what we have been able to achieve, and it started to speak for itself. And a lot of times, again, as women of color, it's so hard when you always have to have your guard up, you always have to defend yourself. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, don't lose the joy of the journey because you're doing that. There was a
Exactly.
point I had to let that go, where I'm like, I'm just not doing that. I'm not defending myself. If you
Yeah.
don't want my business, cool. If you don't think I'm good enough, cool, but somebody will. And eventually people started to, and then those same people came back and were like, oh, we heard of you. Oh, we're so proud of how much you grew, but you didn't lend a hand to me when I needed it because you saw me as a woman of color who wasn't known. And then eventually, again, so I would say to my woman of color, don't let anybody steal your joy in the journey. Keep pushing. Don't look for any handouts. Don't settle for less. If you have your rate and your price point, keep it. Okay, we could talk about that when you sign up for coaching on how
Yes.
to make sure you're getting your value and your worth, because
Yeah.
I've been through that and I've helped others through that. Don't change your price point for anybody because your counterparts aren't doing it. And some of them are Googling stuff online and getting their answers while you are putting in the work because
Yeah.
you care to do it from an authentic, original, innovative place. So
Yeah.
I say that to say, don't sell yourself short, and your time will come. As long as you're doing it from the heart, you're doing what you love, you're being genuine, and you're having integrity,
Yeah.
it will God will always open the door for you when no man will do it, but he will do it, and he will get the glory, and you'll be able to give him the glory. So, that's my advice for the woman watching of color. Keep going, don't lose the joy in the journey, and just enjoy the process. Because it's worth it in the end. It really, really is.
Right, right. It is. Is there any other questions in there, you guys, before we tune in for the night?
I don't see anything.
Questions you have, or did you drop your link in there, say, so they know
Oh, you know what? I didn't even let's
how
see. How do I even let me see if I even know how to do that here.
you
I
put out.
think yes, I can mention. Oh, you know what? I don't think it lets me type in this chat, but
Oh,
I can type on my Facebook.
yeah,
So I will make sure that I just didn't want the feedback, because for some reason when I went on my Facebook I can hear it earlier. So hopefully it let's see if I'll mute it. Yeah, okay, there we go. So I turn off the mic, but I will put my link in the chat here. So if you want more information and want to just check us out, or just want to be able to book a coaching session, you can
yes.
go to pushstrategist.com.
Mhm.
I'm really excited to also share. And which I put the link in the chat. We are launching a really great program as well, which I'm super super excited about. And I'm checking to Miata to see if your live is up, but I can't really tell. But for
It-
some reason, hopefully it is by now. But but
oh
we're
my,
really we're launching. Oh, did you hear say something, Miata? Sorry, cut off. Say
no,
that
no,
again.
it is
Oh,
up. I
okay.
can
It
see
is up.
comments for some reason.
Oh, okay, that's okay. Well, some people shared it when I went on. I can see that they shared the broadcast. So, but we're really launching for the new year. Just really giving people new business strategy, new career strategies. It's called the Push Insiders Group Coaching Program. It's going to be launching, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a 4 months program. We're shaping it for 3 to 4 months, and what it's going to be is the opportunity for those who really want to unlock their full potential, those who really want to reach new heights in their career and business. And it's really going to be about personal development and coaching that's going to empower you. It can be men and it could be women. And it's going to be not only myself, but a lot of expert speakers and teachers. So, similar to how we talked about with Empower You Sis, me bringing in people who have been on this journey, other small business success stories, other professionals who are doing excellent in their field. And it's going to be a place not only for just you gaining wisdom and insight as you're deciding on your business or wanting to grow your business or even growing yourself, but
Yeah.
it's going to be a place of accountability, support,
Hmm.
inspiration, and motivation. So I really want to invite you, if you're interested, as you go on my website, you'll see the pop-up sign up for our interest list, and we'll be launching that in February. So the goal is in February, for those who are interested, we'll be doing a live webinar sharing more about the program, the modules, and this is self-paced. There'll be lives with us monthly for our power hours that we'll have during the trainings, and then from there you will be able to really see yourself thrive and grow, because I think it's important to help duplicate what I was able to achieve and all these other professionals and businesses were able to achieve, and that's what we want to do through this program. So check us out. You can also find us on my podcast, which is Push Talk Podcast. It's all free. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on YouTube, where you can find information about just starting your business. I have 5 seasons now where I talked about starting my business and the journey. I've brought so many business people on. Some of them are big time now. I'm like, ooh, go ahead. Look, I have some celebrities on there. Uh, so yes, there's a lot of great insight on my podcast. It's a way, if you can't afford coaching or training, you can be able to listen and grow just there. And on my website, there's a lot of free resources too as well. So I want you to take advantage of it. So thank you again so much. There's more to come, more things launching this year, but I'll leave it at that. And I want you guys to stay tuned to the prophetic type, because she's been somebody I've been able to do life with, not only as family, but as a woman of business. So I'm so grateful for you. You're just been an inspiration to me, really doing what you love and sharing God and encouraging people to find who they are and use their voice and be warriors in whatever capacity God's called them to. So it's really been a pleasure being able to be on today. I couldn't ask for a better platform to be on. So I'm excited because she's big time, y'all. She's going global, going to all these places. Look, I'm trying to keep up with her.
I'm trying to keep
And
up
so yeah, and thank you, Terry Ann, for
with
your
Tara
comment. Yes, she mentioned it was beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm
so much.
happy that you were able to get something from it. Thank you for watching.
Oh, thank you. I just want to say thank you so much. I'm gonna cry because, like, we're family, and sometimes, we don't really see, or we don't recognize just how gifted a person may be because you're related to them. But I was
Mhm.
sitting there, and I think the reason why I was so flabbergasted and I didn't know what to say was because the wisdom. Oh my
Mhm.
God. Everything you were saying was like points for me to like do some self reflection. Like, Miata, you got to come up in this area. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to be a better. You got to know how to network. You got to know, like, everything you said was just so empowering and encouraging me and challenging me to do better in business.
Mhm.
So I learned
Mhm.
so much from you tonight, and I can't wait to do business with you again. I'm definitely signing
Yeah.
up for Push Insider because I want my.
Yes, please do. It's going to be so much fun too, because I love to have fun on top of business. Like, I always have some innovative, fun way to, because I want people to enjoy. It's
Yeah,
not easy. And Miata, the cool thing, is that you are so good at what God has called you to, that He
yeah,
will send, and people forget to. He'll send people where you feel you need to grow. Like, honestly, I think you're doing amazing. And He sent so many people to get me to where I am today. So
yeah,
I can't even take all the credit, all the partners who have worked with me, all the women who have been mentors and poured into my life, pastors, my pastor, all these amazing women who
yeah,
have been a blessing to me, and men who have been a blessing to me, supportive family. There's so much that
yeah,
my daughters, who I really do this for daily, like, they have been my rock that keeps me going. Outside of my husband's pep talk for me not giving up, which I'm so grateful for his love and support. my daughters, really keep me going. So it takes a village, and I'm really grateful. So I have to give credit where it's due. But the Almighty God is really who gets all the glory, because
Yeah.
He has allowed me to, He's made me who I am. When I was in my mother's womb, He knew this is where I was going to be. And He knew where you were going to be, and all of us watching. But it's up to us to accept and walk in that purpose. And many times we let life and the enemy make us think that we're not where we are, but we are. We've made it because we're living, we have life. As long as we take every day to find that purpose and push towards it, you've made it. So I'm grateful. I'm so thankful for the opportunity to be on, and I appreciate you letting me be part of your platform before you get too big and I got to book an appointment. You are big already, I should say. So,
I was, I was
yeah.
with you, and I think I shared that with you after the Empower Uses event, how impressed I was with you and your team, and how, when you were speaking earlier about having the right people around you, and the women that were there to support the event, how friendly and kind and accommodating they were. And it's all a reflection of who you are as a person, because it's like who you are, you kind of attracted the right people around you. And being around them, I was like, oh wow, they remind me so much of you, and just little things that they were doing, so accommodating. So
Yeah,
accommodating.
they were amazing. Awesome. Shout out to all the volunteers. They were great. And
It,
I'm excited for next this year even being bigger and better.
I was so impressed with how
Yeah.
everything together, how the people came together, how the women left encouraged, and how
Yeah.
you took such pleasure in watching people leaving encouraged and leaving better than they came in. So I
Yeah.
just want to thank you for all that you do for Women
Yeah,
of
thank you.
Family. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I truly appreciate
Yeah.
it. And oh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
cry.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna make her cry at her show. Oh, let me end this now.
But
Oh, thank you, Miata. Thank you so much.
encouraged me when I was first stepping out, our pep talks, and oh my God, I'm gonna cry. Um,
Oh yeah, cause you look. Be honest and look. Don't let her fool you. She had her clothing boutique. She's an entrepreneur too as well, and
but
it's warrior workout. Which if I don't know if you shouted, if you shared that on the podcast, but that thing has got me physically together because that I need that help.
just everything else that you do, even
Yeah,
our personal talks apart from business, you've always been so encouraging and just so inspiring to me. And I
yeah.
really admire you. I really do. And I
Yeah,
love
and likewise, I do too. I really do. You have been a blessing. Many times I was on that ledge and I had to call you, and you helped me say, "Okay, look. You got to be a Proverbs 31 woman and handle it this way." So I'm grateful too as well. So thank you so much again for this opportunity. I needed this. At the top of the year, you're
it.
trying to get so many things going, but it's nice to just be able to reflect and look back and
Yes.
say, wow, we could say we've come a long way. There may things may have not been perfect in every capacity, but you got to recognize your wins because
Yeah.
otherwise you'll never be grateful. And gratitude is truly a blessing in itself. So
Yeah.
as I'm on here today and I've gotten to look back, I'm like, wow, we've
Mm,
done a lot, and I'm thankful to God He's given me the ability to. And there's so much more to come because
yeah.
look, like I said, I'm looking like kingdom in every area of my life this year. And so
Gary,
are you. We all are. So we got to keep pushing and keep going towards our goals.
yeah. So thank you
Uh,
so much again, everybody. Thank you for watching.
yeah.
Um,
Thank you, everybody. Check
the
us out.
Check her
Thank
out.
you.
Sign up for Insider and the Empowered,
Yeah.
as well as the other events. So
Yes, more will come. Check us our page, our event page. We have everything on the site. And again, thank you for your time. Thank you for this opportunity. And I look forward to seeing you all again on the prophetic type. Thank
prophetic.
you.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night.